Hi everyone, it's Leona with Leona's Designs. Welcome to another Scripture Sunday 2025. This is October and we're focusing on scriptures with the word faith in them. On week 42, the scripture is Ephesians 2 verses 8 and 9. And that says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith, and not that of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest anyone should boast." And that's Ephesians 2, verses 8 and 9 in the New King James Version. And I'm calling this week's verse, Saving Faith. So I've got my little title printed out here in the color of lavender, which is our journal prompt this week. For week 42, the journal prompts are the color lavender. The shape is a square, and the art supply is art chalk. So you can use 1, 2, 3, none or all of them in your art this week. But we do focus on the scripture. So I've been pondering what I'm going to do this week in my art journal. I have an image here that I really don't want to use because it's not going to fit in with the verse. So I'm going to have to somehow cover this image up. And I don't know if the art chalk will do that. I might have to use some gesso first. I do have art chalk here that I've rarely used. I got this as a gift from someone, and I have tried it out a few times, but I haven't really used it much, so I'm going to experiment with this. I've got some purple and lavender colors here. There's a nice lavender right there. There's a lot of different colors in here. So that'll be fun to play around with. And I've had this image in my mind regarding this verse of saving faith that I just have always thought of myself for my salvation. Picturing it in my mind was like I was floating in this sea of sin, and there was nothing I could do to get out of it. I was just there, and the water was deep, the sin was deep, and there was really nothing I could do to save myself. I was just floating around. And then Christ reached his hand down and pulled me out and saved me. So that was my image, I guess, of this verse, and so I'm going to try to recreate that on this page. I was going to put some water down here at the bottom and a hand coming up and then another hand coming down, and then I thought, no, I want to just do something a little different. So I was thinking about it, and I decided to create this image in Canva, which is a helicopter with a lifesaver hanging down. And the helicopter is God's grace, and the lifesaver is faith. So I'm hoping I will be able to put this on the page as, the image of faith being our salvation, and God is giving it to us through his grace. So I also found this other image. I don't know if I'll have room for it, but I saw these people. They're like all reaching up to this world. And I thought, well, that might work out because they're down here under this lifesaver reaching up for it. That would kind of denote that they were unsaved people, and they're reaching up in faith for God's grace and salvation. but I don't know if it's going to fit. So we'll see what happens. I always have a lot of ideas and never know exactly if they're going to turn out like I hope they will. But it's fun to try. So I'm going to, I think, get the gesso and kind of gesso this down to kind of mute it out. And then I'll start playing around with the chalk. So I'll be right back. I'm going to gesso this page and let it dry, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I got the gesso on there and it muted it down a little bit. So I'm going to try now to see what I can do with this art chalk. And keep in mind, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying it out. I think you just put it down and then you add a little water. And then I think it's supposed to, it looks like it's going to be permanent. Because if you don't add the water, of course, it's just like regular chalk that will wipe away. But with the water, it kind of turns to be permanent. I'm just going to use it on this lettering to kind of blot that out. It's kind of hard to go over it when it's wet. So I'm just going to go all around the page with it, I guess. We'll see what happens. I've never really used it much before. I did use it once when I was doing a journal page, but I didn't use it wet. And it just kind of rubbed off, and I thought, well, there must be a better way to use this. So I looked it up and watched a few videos and learned that you have to wet it. So now I think I've worn it down pretty good, and I'm going to wet it. See what happens. Well, if it stayed like that, it would be pretty cool. We'll see. Yeah, I think it's gonna make a nice background. Hopefully it will dry like this and make a nice looking background. I like the color as the water turns the lavender a little darker purple. Just want to make sure I get all the chalk wet. Okay, I think I got it all covered. So I will be back when it dries and show you the result. Okay, it's all dry and I think it looks really nice. Just get you in a little closer. It's got some nice texture and patterns. Dried well. So I don't think it would have turned out as well if I hadn't used the gesso. So I'm glad I used the gesso, but I will be trying this again. It was really fun. So while I was waiting for that to dry, I did cut this out, and I should be able to glue it down on the page easily with this page title. The only thing is now, I'm wondering about the bottom here. I could leave it just like this. It would, exemplify the verse very well. But I found this picture of the lady because the picture that I showed you before of all those people with their arms up holding that globe just wouldn't fit here. But I found this lady and I thought she's got her arms up like she's happy and holding on to something, so I could put her like that. Wouldn't show her face, but could put it like she was there holding on to this face. I'm not sure if I need to do that though. So I'm going to glue this down, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I might just put her here, like Faith is coming to her, like she's so happy. Or maybe I don't even need to do it at all. But I've got to figure out how I'm going to put this onto the page. I'll have to cut it down. And I'm seeing I won't be able to use the prompt for a square, I guess. Too bad the prompt wasn't for circles or oval. But it's square, and I don't think, even if I made a square, that this whole verse would fit in there. But we could try to glue it down in a square shape. I'll see. But first I'm going to glue these down, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got this glued down. I had to put a lot of glue stick because I wasn't really wanting to stick to that chalk. But I've got it glued down now. And I did put the lady here. I just thought she looked better over here. She's really happy and rejoicing that Faith is coming, or her faith is given by God to save her. And I remember when I first heard that from my pastor, he was preaching on this verse, and you have been saved through faith, not of yourselves, it's the gift of God. I never really realized that God gives us everything. He gives us salvation, but he also gives us the faith. He gives us the faith to believe and receive. And I never really realized that before. I just focused on the salvation that we're getting from this verse, Ephesians 2:8 and 9. It's the salvation verse that the salvation is a gift of God, but also the faith is a gift of God. So he gives us everything. Nothing is of us. So that, is something to think about this week if you haven't ever heard that before. God gives the grace, the faith, and the salvation, and everything else. So I just wanted to point that out. If you hadn't ever heard that before, that's what my pastor told me a long time ago. So, for by grace you have been saved. Try to get this stuck on here some way. Through faith, not of yourselves. So there's nothing that we can do to earn salvation. It's a gift of God, and we earn it we receive it by faith, but even that faith isn't of us. I think I'm going to have the lady holding that. So, if you never heard this before, I would encourage you to research it. this week and see what you can find and what you think about that. Because the verse does say, it's not of yourselves, it's a gift of God, not of works. So works are something that we do to earn it. And people just say, yes, right, I can't earn my salvation. But they don't think about they can't even earn the faith or the grace. So anyway, just a little thought from me. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to put this. Maybe I won't be able to have that down so far. Maybe I'll just have to do it like that. I do like this lifeline that's coming down, and it's in the shape of a cross. So I think this is how I'm going to glue it down. I think it'll look good that way. So I'm going to get this glued down, and then I'm going to call this page done. So I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you following this page, subscribing to this page, liking the video, commenting what you think about this page or what you think about this verse. And if you do create one of these art pages or page in your journal, I would love to see it. The links are in the description box where you could post a picture if you want to on Facebook or Instagram. And if you haven't subscribed, I would encourage you to subscribe, because I'm hoping and planning to do this every week for the rest of the year on different scriptures. And if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day, and I hope you can walk in faith and grace and salvation this week as we focus on the Lord's Word. Bye-bye.